Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest prediction show with the House of League team. I say the team, there's only two of us again this week. Josh was sulking last week over something. I can't remember why he was sulking last week.
No, but I'm back now.
You're back.
I don't know why I was sulking, because before last week, I think I was leading the table, but I'm not sure.
I'm sure you make this up every week.
No, I'm sure James thought he was leading last week.
I don't know what the table looks like.
No, we were told about 2 weeks ago, weren't we? And at that point, I was leading.
Right, okay.
I don't know how, because I've had some stinkers.
First, I've definitely had some stinkers. And you're back, but Smales is gone. Decided
hopefully listening.
Reasonable to go on a holiday. I don't know why he thinks that's acceptable, but whatever. And there was no way we're getting Dan in after Hull FC lost to Hull KR. So just me and Leigh. Let's go through the games. We start with Salford v Leeds on Thursday night. Salford are going to be down on troops again, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think Taki Chan failed a head injury assessment, didn't he? Nathan Connell suffered a shoulder injury. I mean, every week.
Briley pulled out in the
Yeah,
warm-up.
it was a late pull-out, yeah.
Hammy, I think it was. Did Chris Hankinson get an injury as well?
Did he get it? Because he's just come back, so unless it was a fresh one. And
I might be making that.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, it's hard to keep up in it, isn't it, with injuries? That's why people should keep up on the treatment room on All Out Rugby League.
That's a wonderful plug.
Great work. Leeds have obviously lost Brodie Croft, I think, for a month.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of losses on either side there. It's such a hard one to call whenever Salford are involved, isn't it? Because you just don't know week to week. We were said on the regular podcast that hopefully there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but as things stand still under that cap, looking at it, you'd go with the Leeds Rhinos for me on the prediction on paper.
Yeah, I mean, Brodie Croft is out, but they can bring Matt Ferrari back in. Different types of players, but, he gets them ticking along, So I don't think the disruption's that bad it can't be as bad for Leeds as it is for Salford, because when Salford lose players at the minute, it's amplified by the lack of players they have. So yeah. I just think they'll be down to the bare bones again. It's hard to see Leeds not winning that game.
But it's hard to predict, as I say, sort of anything that involves Salford at the minute. I think in a few weeks' time, if and when, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all sorted. But I think we will start to predict Salford a little bit more. But as things stand, it's hard to sort of back him, isn't it, on the field?
Yeah. On to Friday night. This is an interesting game. Saints v Wakefield. Wakefield can't win at home, but they can certainly win away. Unbeaten on the road, winless at home. They play Saints away, crucially.
Well, there's your prediction, surely. After all that, no?
Yeah.
Look, we talked about St. Helens, didn't we, on the podcast, and we went into depth about Paul Wellens and the coaching staff. They've got the pack, they just don't have that sort of click in the new combinations in the 1, 6 and 7 there. Wakefield looking to bounce back. They did a number on Leigh in Super League at LSV before the Challenge Cup, and then obviously they lost in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals. I think that is a really, as you say, it's sort of almost a tough one to predict. But again, on paper, looking at the records, the away form,
short turnaround for Saints compared to Wakefield. Wakefield have an extra.
It is,
2
and
days.
Saints. We could do probably 30 minutes talking about injuries. They've lost Mark Percival to a HIA. Matt Whitley was already in the centre, so now hopefully they'll welcome back Harry Robertson, who obviously missed the game after failing his in Catalans.
You'd think they'd play Ben Davies, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd have thought so, because the option was there.
Well, they didn't let him go on loan to Salford. Wanted him on loan, and they didn't want to let him go on loan to Salford in the end because of a few injuries he picked up the week before. So he was going to go the week before, from what I can gather.
So the option was there.
Fair enough, they kept him, which they're perfectly entitled to. But then they play him.
And they played a back rower. And then they lost Mark Percival, so then they had to play Batchelor in the back row.
Yeah, you've got to think Davies plays this week. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So well, if you were him, you'd be eager to, wouldn't you? You're thinking,
he's off contract at the end of the year.
They're short in the department that he plays in. Play me.
Yeah.
Let me show you what I can do. That'd be sort of his thinking. Yeah. And Saints, obviously, a few more injuries. We say welcome back, Robertson. I think Wingfield as well failed a HIA.
Yeah.
I think. You're going Wakefield on that
I'm going
one?
Wakefield. Yeah, I think.
Last time I predicted Wakefield to lose sort of the show before the last, they used my voice on the social media channels predicting, and then they beat Leigh 40 points to 14. So
justice. Serves you right. Serves you right for not knowing what you're talking about.
They're obviously listening, but I also know that Tom Maguire is a listener of the show. So if I could sit on the fence, I'd sit on the fence on this one. So I couldn't be used, but I'll have to go with Wakefield, I think.
Tom Maguire, media manager at Saints, friend of the show. He listens in a lot. He'll be very pleased for the shout out. Not so much me tipping Wakefield to win. We then go the big game of the week, Hull KR Wigan, huge game. The Super League defending champions against the unbeaten Robins, repeat of last year's grand final. This is probably the game of the season so far. I think.
And Hull KR have to back up all the highs of the Challenge Cup and everything that came with that on and off the field. And Wigan obviously have had a week off. A very rare week off. They very rarely have a week off. Didn't have one last year because obviously they won the lot. It's going to be a mouth-watering game, that one. It's going to have it all. Obviously, most people now in the sport have seen the documentary, so there's that new rivalry as well on and off the field, which makes it all that much tastier.
I think that got this. I shouldn't say this when I'm.
I mean,
I'm in the media and want to hype it up.
Yeah,
it was fantastic
it was good TV.
I think it's been smoothed over, hasn't it?
Between it has. But there is a new rivalry in the sport, isn't it? Wigan and Hull KR, because they're meeting in such big games in recent years. I think semi-finals 2 years ago, the final last year. Because they're meeting in these massive games, there's a new rivalry there. We've debated, haven't we, on this show for first few weeks, who's got the better forwards, Wigan or Hull KR. We'll find out, I think.
No, we won't find out because Hull KR are going to be without the two back rowers most probably.
Of course,
Reece Martin won't play. James Batchelor, I don't think will play. So you take the two back rowers out of any team. I know. Wigan, so if Havard's still not playing, is he?
No.
So neither, and you're never going to get both teams at full strength. I think when you take both back rowers out, I'd say that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And I've already said it once, that you win the middle, most of the time you win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what allows the playmakers to do their stuff. I think we'll see that on the weekend. I think the middle battle will be the big one there.
I think Wigan will. I said last week, I thought Hull KR would win the derby and lose to Wigan. And I still feel the same. Throw in the fact that Mike Lewis might not play. I think this will be the week that the unbeaten run comes to an end. You would be foolish to completely write off Hull KR at home. Well, you'd be foolish to write off Hull KR ever.
Well, yeah,
but
and
particularly
after the start,
at home, they haven't lost at home for, I think it was July. So that they're 9 months unbeaten at home. Awful place to try and go and play as an away team.
Yeah, some teams just crumble, don't they, under the pressure there because the fans are really on top of you. They've really built that atmosphere there.
Yeah. So won't completely write them off, but I'll stick to my guns from what I said last week, and I'm going to Wigan win. Hull KR's unbeaten run comes to an end.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hull KR, as you say, the unbeaten run. If you look at this and you would think this is their biggest, well, it is their biggest test of the season so far, but because of how much went into that Challenge Cup derby and how big that was, it's almost a different sort of test because of all that. I think I'm going to have to join you on that one. I think I'm going to back the Warriors as well.
Right, Warrington v Hull FC.
It's a shame Dan's not here for this one.
I'm intrigued by this game.
Yeah. Warrington, we mentioned it again on the previous podcast. The game, I enjoyed the game, being there as a viewer and as a fan of the sport, and also, loving the job and what I do. I thought it was an entertaining game. I thought George Williams and Mark Sneed, George Williams is such a clever player. I think Warrington will have enough, I think, on the day over Hull. Again, Hull FC, I think they picked up a few more injuries. Is it Jordan Lane that broke his arm?
There's no back rowers.
Yeah. Brad Fash pulled out, calf injury. Jordan Lane.
Yeah, Jordan Lane with fractured arm. And Ed Chamberlain played in the back row and he came off injured. He jarred his knee. So
I think Hull might have one of, if not the longest list of injuries in Super League currently.
Yeah. They're all in the back row because Jed Cartwright's
out.
injured.
Yeah.
So
Oliver Holmes is out.
I have absolutely no idea who they are going to play in the back row. No idea.
Yeah.
I don't.
Dan might do a predicted team this week, and good luck to him.
I think it might be Zach Hardacre. Zach Hardacre played in the back row for Leigh in the playoff game against Salford, didn't he? And he did all right. That would, but you don't want to be doing that, do you?
Yeah.
I think that's what they'll have to do.
But I think if you have to the predictions, is that Halliwell Jones? Yeah, I think, the travel, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But I do think Warrington Wolves will win that one.
I agree. I think if Hull FC were more like fully fit, it'd be a tight game. But I think Warrington, and as we said on the House League show, they're finding ways to win despite the fact they're not necessarily being dominant or playing well. And I think that's a really good trait. So, yeah, I'm going Warrington here.
But just to level it out for any Warrington listeners, they have their own injuries as well.
They do.
Mentioned Paul Vaughan's finger popping out and the bone coming out.
I can't get my head around that. Like, what an idiot. Like, in a good way. But what an idiot. What are you doing? They're not built right, are they?
Yeah. And then Sam Burgess came out post-match and he says he expects a few more. I think they welcomed back Matty Ashton and Roderick Tye. But post-match, he said he's expecting a few more to be injured. He said he won't know. They have the presser on Wednesday this week. They'll know more then. So he's expecting a few more out. So Warrington have fair shares of injuries as well. And Paul Vaughan's a massive miss. He's going to miss a few weeks now. He's massive in their pack. Zay Musgrove did step up in his absence, so we'll have to do that again this weekend.
Musgrove's played well since he's come back in the team. He's had a few good stints. So,
and Luke Yates is back now, obviously.
Which is a big one for them.
Yeah, he played really well.
The Tigers and the Leopards in the battle of the big cats.
Is that have they called it that? Are they labelling that on social media?
I have no idea, but they can use it if they want.
Hopefully, if they're listening to us, then hopefully they can pinch that one.
Yeah. There used to be a show on the BBC called Big Cat Week. I used to love watching as a kid. It was like just followed cheetahs and lions, and I was that kid. Anyway, moving on.
Well, what are you back in this weekend? The Tigers and the Leopards.
It's hard to look past Leigh, isn't it?
It is.
Cass are just. They're not there, are they? They're not. They aren't where they need to be. I can see a high-scoring game because I still think Cass, not so much against Hull FC, but they have looked pretty good in good ball for large parts, and Leigh have been shaky defensively on their own line.
Conceded 40 against Wakefield before the Challenge Cup.
Well, they conceded 20-odd to Hull FC, 30 to Hull KR.
Yeah.
So they've been shipping points. And I think Cass could score points, but they won't be able to defend Leigh well enough for that to matter. So I could see winning by 16 and it'd be something like 28-12 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I'll have to go with the Leopards as well, obviously, through to the semi-finals, the Challenge Cup. I think I said at the start of the year, the predictions that I said, it's luck of the draw, but I said a repeat of the Challenge Cup between KR and Leigh, and I'm going to stick by that. But welcome back, Robbie Mulhern. I think McIntosh and Charnley are nearing their returns. I'm not quite sure if they'll be back for this weekend, but that'd be two boosts. Although the players that have been playing there, Brand's
done well.
Yeah, he's done really well. Yeah, he's been playing well this year. I'd have to go with the Leopards. I think Robbie Mulhern was a massive return for them, and I think again this weekend they'll be too strong for Castleford.
And the last game, if I'm not mistaken, is Huddersfield v Catalan. Huddersfield, oh my word! Their injuries are just mind-blowing. I think Tuilolohi is out for a long period of time now.
Luke Robinson, he'll be thinking, what have I done?
Yeah, I'm sure they've lost another couple since last time out. They've not a chance. They haven't a chance with the amount of injuries they've got. I do think, I think if they could get a few bodies in, they might be all right, but it's impossible to do it. I was thinking, who could they go get in? And I thought, Danny Richardson. But there's no way Hull KR will let him go now with Mikey Lewis injured. I just like, where are they going to get players from? And that's within their own squad. I've never known anything like... I've seen some bad injury crises over the years, but this is the worst I have ever seen. Yeah. And it's been from the pre-season.
Yeah, we've not seen their strongest 17, their strongest 30.
Never.
We've not seen their spine really together. We've not seen their starting forward pack.
No. We have not seen the spine together.
We've not seen the forward pack all together.
No.
Did Tom Burgess return?
Yeah, they're still without Ollie Wilson to suspension though.
Right, yeah.
Matty English came. Did he come off? He was certainly struggling during the game.
George King still out.
Could be back. George King could be back, but Matty English, that's right. He got a shoulder injury. Luke Robinson said in the post-match he's really struggling, so I doubt he'll play. It's just one thing after another.
You feel sorry for Luke Robinson and the team at this point, don't you? You're right, and that's just continued from pre-season. Just a terrible look. So going to the predictions on that, it's hard to predict Huddersfield, isn't it? I mean, they start this first couple of weeks. I mean, 5 weeks, 5 out of the 6, they led at half time.
Yeah,
but they just couldn't get the job done in the second half.
No.
And I mean, that must be another head scratcher as well for him. And then add more injuries into it. You're going to have to go with the Dragons. Obviously, they beat Salford in Challenge Cup as well.
Yeah, they did. I'll be going Catalans.
I think we're quite on point here. So we're both having a great weekend or a terrible weekend.
Something will go wrong. I think with Catalan, I thought they actually played better against Saints than they did against Salford. From the bits I've seen, I managed to get a bit of a video of the Salford Catalan game. Not seen the full thing, but I thought they were quite good against Saints in defeat. The Salford game looked a little scratchy from the bits I've seen. Strange. I think they're improving. I do think they're improving, Catalans, but they're still not quite.
Yeah, no, they're not quite at the peak and not fully gelled yet.
Let's be honest, you don't need to be at this time of year,
no,
do you?
we're 7 weeks in.
Yeah, and they're knocking around the top 6. They're in that middle bracket, aren't they? So
I mean, at this point of the season, it's about improving your performances and just trying to get the wins, getting the 2 points just on the table.
All you really need to do this time of year is just make sure you're within the pack. Getting better and playing well. For all this talk that where everyone panics after 5 games, it don't matter. As long as you've won enough games where you're in and around it and your performances are going up every week, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't matter who you are.
And then it really matters at the business end of the season after 27 rounds.
Of course it does.
And you've had 27 weeks of the plays then. I mean, by then, hopefully, Huddersfield might have the team back.
Yeah, let's hope for them.
Yeah,
I really do. I won't put money on it.
No, I really do hope for them, yeah.
It would be quite funny if the last game of the season they have a fully fit team. That was it.
In a cruel way.
Yeah, in a very
cruel kind of funny, yeah.
Right, that's it. So is that a clean sweep of unanimous
I think it
predictions?
Was, yeah.
Wow.
So this could be terrible.
In which case, I'm going to have a terrible week if I'm following you.
No, again, I think we'll have to do an update next week to see who's leading it.
Yeah.
I got told that that table was getting shared.
Maybe because
you
might have ruined the mystique now. It might have actually been shared earlier in the show.
Oh, right.
We didn't know about it. Yeah.
Oh, either that or you and James, when I wasn't here last week, said, don't share it.
I have no idea. But anyway, this could be a really ugly ending to this show that you've just ruined. So let's hope that table wasn't showed and we showed it. Right. Thank you for joining us on our latest prediction show. We'll be back next week. Loads of... we've got some cool video ideas coming up that we'll be sharing with you very shortly. But for now, enjoy this one and enjoy your rugby league. Take care.